All right, everyone, we start off today talking about Steven Crowder versus the Daily Wire, actually. Again, link in the description. Crowder has the receipts, so to speak. He released a clip from a conversation with one of their executives, and it's not great for the Daily Wire. I would like to point out a couple things. First and foremost, because I don't see other people analyzing it from this angle. Again, I like to have sort of a unique perspective. First, let's talk about the Daily Wire. I'm not a fan of Shapiro. I don't generally like his views. I see some pedestrian takes that are like broken clock mode. You get the same thing with like a Cornyn or a Mitt Romney. He may be an intelligent and verbose individual, and he's certainly really good at business, hence why they're willing to offer upwards of $50 million just to get Crowder aboard. That being said, there are people that work for or with the Daily Wire that I do respect, and there are certainly plenty of people that are fans of the Daily Wire. Like maybe they just don't like Crowder, maybe they're fans of the Daily Wire's maybe they like Jordan Peterson a lot or whatever. They're coming out and attacking Crowder, and I see some people that are defending Crowder saying, well, you're just neocon Inc., you support grifting. Don't lump them all into that same bullshit, because most of them don't fall under that umbrella. There are plenty of principled individuals who do watch Ben Shapiro. I've watched some of Ben Shapiro's stuff. Again, if I enjoy it, it's broken clock mode, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to take some football team side like, hey, it's the Bucs versus the Raiders or something like that, and say, well, because I generally support, Steven Crowder in this, and I do, that I hate everyone that likes the Daily Wire. That's the us and them mentality thing is unhelpful. It's number one. Secondly, and Viva Fry actually put it succinctly, and he's correct, but he's getting the wrong intonation from it. People are right now criticizing Crowder by saying, well, doesn't he realize that by doing this, he's making it impossible to get a corporate contract? If he's just going to start releasing contracts and recordings of people talking and stuff, how terrible. I read it a different way. I think that the fact that he's burning that bridge and making it more difficult for himself to ever strike a contractual deal in the future actually is a virtue, not a vice. It shows that Crowder is like, look, I've got my thing. I've got my independent voice. I'm upset at the part of the contract that says you can outright fucking rob me blind and is insulting. If I step out of line with big tech, I get a strike on YouTube. I get some material removed from Spotify. Advertisers get mad at me for something that I say. Something that's happened to him over and over for years and years. What year are you living in that's not a reasonable expectation to happen to Crowder in the next 4 years? It doesn't matter if he is a good boy and he gets pats on the head from big tech. He's still going to get shadow banned and algorithmically demoted and everything else, just like all the fucking rest of us do. It's inevitable. It would be odd if it didn't happen in the next 4 years. He's looking at the contract, he's saying, okay, I can bring a bunch of my Mug Club people onto Daily Wire. So now they're Daily Wire subscribers. They're not necessarily at Mug Club anymore. They're going to pick and choose because they're getting that content that's exclusive to Daily Wire. So I'm giving the Daily Wire a shit ton of money. And then contractually, they can take a bunch of money from me for what is already goddamn happening to me anyway. So on that, I have to side with Crowder. Now, let's look at the clip that he posted here. He has a little cassette recording. In this, one of the Daily Wire execs, again, I'm not sure exactly which one, he may have fleshed this particular release out on a video, but I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. I just saw the clip he posted on Twitter, so that's what I'm going by here, in which the person is referring to some of the younger talent that's coming aboard the Daily Wire, like smaller creators they're giving contracts to, staffers or whatever, and referring to them as wage slaves specifically. That's not necessarily the proper terminology that you want to use. I understand the concept. The concept is, look, if someone who is up and coming or wants to sort of basically be an intern or something here, for some time they're going to have to fucking slog. That's normal within a corporate construct. I'm not going to even criticize the Daily Wire for the basic premise. Of course, if I had a media group that, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer Incorporated or something, and we hire a half a dozen staffers, I'm not going to start them on $1 million salary. They're going to start out, they're going to be on a wage, quite literally. They are going to have to work hard, and then there will be a meritocracy instituted to see who is advancing, who is getting cut, who is remaining in that position for an extended period. This is called capitalism. I have no goddamn problem with that. But to use the terminology wage slave particularly in what you believe is ostensibly a private conversation with a fellow very rich person, it rubs the wrong way. It doesn't sound quite right. Regardless of the context, particular term usage does matter. It'd be better to say, well, we're not going to start someone off at the top. When they come into the company, they're starting out in a normal way. You wouldn't use the term wage slave. You'd say, look, they're going to be wage workers. They're going to have to work. And then we're instituting a meritocracy. And if they do well, then they advance. They make more money. They have a better position or something. Maybe their own show. If they don't quite make that cut, maybe they lose their job. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's fucking janitor. We overheard the janitor last night on the intercom, which was left on, and he was singing tunes to himself. He had a really great voice. We've decided to make the janitor one of our musical guests. Yeah, here's Jimmy the janitor aboard. That wouldn't go over wrong. That would sound fine if you were to explain it in that context. The specific term, though, that's been used is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And of course, people that get, wealthy and they're corporatist and stuff, in their private conversations, sometimes they say things that would be taken, even out of context at least, by the average person. They'd say, well, it's insensitive in some way. Saying this as a non-sensitive snowflake, and someone who does not have to do the wagey thing, because, I'm a content creator, I know what it's like to be on the bottom. Being called a wage slave is not fun, just to be clear. So, I've got to side with Crowder on this yet again. He's nuking the fallout remnants of what he's already nuked. It's almost like if he goes much further than this, it's beating a dead horse at some point. But the idea that he's plowing himself into a hole, he's destroying his possible corporate career, I don't think he cares. He's pulling in millions of dollars from the Mug Club thing anyway. He's clearly got it going on with regards to creation. I'd like to point out another cope that I saw. I saw this yesterday, even from content creators that I like, saying, well, he's owned by YouTube, so for him to complain about this contract is bullshit because they can censor him off the internet anytime. He's got 1.1 million Rumble subscribers, by the way. If he were to get shit canned on YouTube, what would happen? That number would probably double. People wouldn't suddenly stop being members of the Mug Club. He'd simply be moving his operations to a different platform. By the way, Steven Crowder, if any of you are like staffers for him or something, you gotta get him to invest more time in his BitChute channel too. You don't have to go with just one platform. Rumble's great, so is BitChute. Get on Odyssey. I don't know that he's even there. Probably he could become the biggest creator on Odyssey just by making a goddamn channel. The only thing that I think he's doing wrong is that he's not using this attention as an opportunity to front all of his other presences. Build up an empire, not a kingdom. That would be my personal advice. It's working for me, and I don't have anywhere near as many fucking goddamn subscribers as Crowder does and probably never will. Ultimately, though, he is in the right on the contract. He does not come off as insensitive for rejecting $50 million. What a whiny bitch boy. That's not why he rejected the contract. He wouldn't have even gotten the $50 million. He'd be jettisoning millions and millions of dollars worth of his own subscribers' money via the Mug Club sort of stuff, giving it to the Daily Wire with no assurance of even keeping the money that they're offering him. What the fuck is the goddamn point of anyone signing it? And for him to release the contract, he's not under NDA or anything. So who cares? If the Daily Wire and its simps don't have a problem with the contract and think it's hunky-dory, why do you have a problem with Steven Crowder releasing it? That would be my question. It's because it humiliates the Daily Wire. It just looks wrong on every level. Now we've got additional wrongness. Yes, indeed. I like being able to talk about something like this, kind of refreshing, because it doesn't involve actual e-drama, because the Daily Wire is a corporation. So that's the reason why I'm even talking about it. If it was interpersonal, like Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro have a grudge match, I wouldn't touch the story because, I'm not going to get into that. You know me well, probably, if you've subscribed for a while and know I don't do that. Daily Wire is missing link media. Not a pejorative. It just means that they're an internet era media corporation. A vast one with enormous amounts of resources, an enormous number of people working there, and an enormous number of followers. It's perfectly legitimate to criticize them, I think, for something that really does deserve fucking criticism. That's about all. Peace out.